welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. A great big shout out to my channel members for supporting my channel. Thank you. All right, so this is the next installment of my coloring book collection. This is probably going to be a chatty video considering the number of pages that I'm going to be showing you, as well as the number of books. I'm not trying to do a full inventory of my coloring book collection, so these videos will be sporadic. The next one will probably be my opal collection, and then my Erie collection, and then I'll just do various collections from there. And it's just a way for me to revisit some of my favorite books, as well as share with you some of my completed pages, and then talk story about the journey or the mediums or the thoughts or whatever that happened during those pages. So for this video, it's going to be TOMISLAV TOMIC. He has 2 books. I believe there are other names for these books depending on where it was released. I have Jum Bonger and Spook Jaibo, and both of these I got from Amazon. If they are still available, I will link them down below as affiliate links. I do earn a small commission if you do click on the link, but it does not change your cost. I always have disclaimers in my description box regarding my affiliate links, and we are required to disclose that information to you. I'm going to start with this book here because it has the least amount of completed pages, and then we'll go to this one here. Now, honestly, I love the artwork from this artist, and I actually love both of these books from this artist, but this one is problematic, if that could be a word, only because it is a double-sided book. And so either I am prohibited of using alcohol markers, or I have to sacrifice a page. Now, sometimes that's just going to be a thing, but this one, unlike the other one, it doesn't give you a respite. And I'll show you what I mean when I get into that. So every single page is filled, right? And a lot of this artwork, I don't know that I want to sacrifice. Like, I'm not big on coloring birds and bugs, but I don't know, this guy is giving me all kinds of attitude, and I'm kind of digging that. But I also kind of like this picture here. So again, alcohol markers immediately become something I can't use. So this is one of the 2 completed pages I have in this book, and this was actually a tester, and I really like doing this sort of thing and writing right on the page. I know for some people that is just disrespectful or disgraceful or just really bothers them. To me, I like seeing the information in the book that I'm working on versus keeping track of it somewhere else, because then if I no longer have that, then I've lost all that information. So what I wanted to do was check out all of the different pencils that I had at the time and see how they worked on this paper, and then give a rating of what pencil worked well. Because at the time, which was the latter part of 2021, I really only was using pencils or water-based markers. I think I might have started using alcohol markers. The pencils were still the medium that I tried to use the most. And so I've got Mandalama pencils here, Erogeton pencils here, Amazon Basics here. This 4th one is Black Widow. This is Crayola, Montmartre pencils, Brut Funner pencils, Holbein pencils, and the number 9 was Prisma. And the number 10, this section here, was Polychromos, Luminance pencils here. And then this green section was Inktense pencils. Now, from a visual standpoint, none of them actually look bad to me. So my key is not based on the visual. My key, and actually anytime I'm talking about colored pencils, is based on how much work did I have to put into them to get to the effect that I wanted? So my highest rating pencils were the Inktense ones, and they're very easy to work with. I really liked the Luminance pencils, again, not for the effect, but how they felt in my hand and how they put down on the page. And then Prismas. Crayola Skin, I have never really liked Crayola pencils because I really need to work at them to get the effect that I want. But if I look at the Crayola Skin pencils, which is this one right here, that doesn't actually look bad. So again, for me, it's not the visual, it's the actual process of it that I wrote down here. And I wrote that I forgot to color, but if these are Crayola Skin, then either I would have to have colored them in brown, which apparently I did on some of these, because there's no green in the skin set. But yes, I like the look of this page. This actually, I think, is this guy's tail right here. So because I know what pencils I've used, I could do this guy as well. The likelihood that's going to happen is very small. And then the only other page that I've completed in here is this one. So not alcohol marker. I wasn't sure until I flipped the page. And so this uses Distress ink, black acrylic ink, a Staedtler Aquarelle, Pentel Glaze Pen, Dual Hybrid Metallic, and Spectrum Sparkle. This was for Olga Rani's Find and Color of Dark Horse. Now, originally, when I looked at this page, it didn't necessarily pull like this was a dark horse, you know, more on the shadowy side of things, but I thought that if I can make the colors dark, even though this is probably just one step away from a sparkly unicorn, then I can give the effect that this is a dark, maybe more spooky type of horse. I loved this effect right here, where I colored behind and then I put the Spectrum Sparkle on top so that you can see that these wings are see-through, although now that I think about it, then I should have extended some of the flowers as well so that you could see the flowers behind. But still, I loved the effect of this and I loved the overall composition of this because, again, I don't know that you'd necessarily look at this book and think of something dark, but I think it absolutely fits and works, and I love the look of this. So that's the only other completed page out of this coloring book. So that's Jum Bonger by Tomislav Tomic. This is Spook Jaibo. Now, I'm not sure which came first. Actually, it doesn't even matter to me. But this one, as you can see, in some sections is single-sided. Now, I don't know what the mindset was to say, okay, we're going to make it mostly single-sided until we don't. Again, I don't put these things together, but this one I definitely have more latitude to use mediums that I want to include alcohol markers because I'm not sacrificing pages that I may want to work on. Now, there are books that I have that if I can avoid it, I want to keep the pages as pristine as possible, like the other side of it. So they are just not going to be alcohol marker books for me, like my Erie books. But sometimes I do get bleed through because of the other mediums that I'm using, but that's few and far between. So this is one of the pages that I completed, just so that I could have said I completed something that I'm not 100% happy with. Now, I try not to dog my work because this wasn't even a page that interested me, but I wanted to get something done in it. And so this has Inktense pencils on there, Pentel Dual Hybrid Metallic, and some Jelly Roll Metallic. So it's a completed page done. I did test out some of my mediums, but I'm not super excited about it. This one I actually had a lot of fun with because in my mind it fit for a prompt for something Olga Rani was hosting, which was something to do with wedding. And when I saw this page as I flipped through my various coloring books, I'm like, okay, she's a wedding planner for fairies. These are her assistants, and this is the wedding list that she has to go through in order to deal with this fairy tale wedding. And I don't know that I wanted it to be this colorful, but again, it's with Inktense pencils, and it should be already a clue in the name that they are very intense colors. So it actually turned out more colorful than I had wanted it to be, but I think it actually works. I think the page is really pretty, and I'm really happy with the overall effect of it. And I like that I gave a little bit of a purpose to this. I mean, what is she reading exactly? And who are these to her? But these are her assistants, and she is the fairy tale wedding planner. And I kind of dig that. So happy with this page. This one is a recent completed page done, in fact, December 2024. I talk about this in my completed pages video, but this one I call a study in gray because I actually had finished the other page, and I'll show you that in a second, first. And of course I used alcohol markers, and this wasn't a page that I necessarily felt that I had to save because it wasn't a page that I necessarily ever wanted to color anyway, but I thought, well, what can I do with it with all of this color peeking through? And so it's various water-based markers in gray. This is a black water-based marker. There's a little bit of acrylic paint, but I didn't like the effect on that. But I love that all of this vibrancy is peeking through, and this seems to be sort of in the shadows. I don't know why I like the effect of it. You can't really see some of it, especially some of it down here, but every single element of this page has been colored. But I like that it's light. It doesn't affect the other page at all, and yet it's still very, very interesting to me. It's one of my favorite pages, sort of because it's so odd, right? It's like it's in the shadows, behind the vibrancy, or in front of the vibrancy, and I don't know. It's just like these two different worlds that are simultaneously together, but absolutely different and apart. Yeah, I like it. Now, this was a double page spread that I did with my friend Doodle Robot. And we did this in 2022. Well, I did this in 2022, July. And we had chosen this page because July 2022 is our birthday month for both of us. And it was the month that I was turning 50. And so I thought, okay, let me tackle an insane 2-page spread, because otherwise I'm never going to tackle an insane 2-page spread. I did work over this a period of, I think, a month and a half. By the time I finished with it and I did the sky last, I was pretty much over this page. Super over it. So in fact, the sky and the butterflies are like just get some color on the page. Who even cares anymore? I've talked about this before. Elements on this page as individuals I really like. As a whole, I think it's a little off. It's not bad. And I love looking at this, and I love knowing that Doodle and I have done this together. She finished hers later. It's absolutely spectacular. But like, I like the triangle of yellow. I like the warm colors seem to go here, and the blue seems to go here. But then when you look at it as a whole, there's just something a little jarring or disjointed about this, which is actually a really good way to describe some of my coloring, because the way that I color is, okay, I do an element, and then I do all the elements the same, okay, and then I do the next element, okay, and then what now? And that always happens to me. Okay, so what now? So you've done that. Now what are you going to do? You've done the red and the flowers, so you want something to pop out, so you're going to do yellow here. Okay, so you can have the yellow up here, but what are you going to do down here? Because that actually doesn't really tie into this by way of the artwork. And so it just kind of happens. But I don't know. I love looking at this page, and I love that it's like, okay, well, I mean, I backed myself in a corner, and I think sometimes it shows, but also, that's my style. If I had a style, that backing myself into a corner would definitely be it. This was another page that I completed. This was a buddy color with Poet, although on this one I did not write down the mediums that I used. It looks like it probably was some sort of water medium type of pencil, either Inktense or one of my other watercolor pencils. There is a lot of sparkle on this page. I don't know if that's acrylic. Oh, maybe it's here. Okay. So this is Inktense pencils, a shuttle art alcohol marker. I don't know what that right. What does that say? Oh, okay. Yeah, so there's a lot of alcohol marker on here. Acrylic metallic paint, jelly roll, glaze, dual hybrid metallic, Prismacolors, and Wink of Stella. Okay, well I did write it somewhere then. Although clearly I'm not giving myself the greatest of notes. Some elements, again, I really like, and by the time I got to the fairies, I'm like, meh. I'm done. And then this isn't a completed page, but this is something that Poet has already done, but this is something I had marked as a buddy color that I still need to do because, again, she's already done it. And I think this was back in like 2022. And then I forgot to show you something out of Jum Bonger. For July 2025, Doodle Robot and I are going to be working on this 2-page spread. Now, it's currently January 26, 2025, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is something that I'm going to work on over the next coming months, just because there's a lot on the page. I kind of have an idea of how I want this to look, and I want to give myself enough space and time to work on this because I think it can be really, really fun and interesting. But yeah, that is my TOMISLAV TOMIC collection and all of my completed pages. Not that many, especially in this one, but that's okay. My coloring books wait on me. They don't dictate when I work in them. I'd love to know what you guys think of my various pictures. Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, well, that's it for me for now. And as always, aloha.